What's going on? I wanted to drop some knowledge here from a good friend of mine, Sid, who's talking about how to get a P0, which is basically a rank before the first rank on Google. So it's those little knowledge snippets that you see where the answer is embedded in Google. You don't even have to click through. So Sid's going to show you a P0 that he achieved, how he did it, walk you through that. And I thought, boy, this would be really helpful information. So thanks so much, Sid. Take it away.
Hey, what is up? My name is Sid and I am a marketing consultant for SaaS companies. I've worked with companies like Typeform, Olark, ClickUp, Thinkific, Procurify, and dozens more. And I usually help these companies identify new ways to grow and to scale faster. And one of those ways that I do it with is with content. So using content marketing and SEO to attract more organic traffic and leads. And in this example, in this video, I want to show you a real life case study of how I helped one company called Thinkific, which is an online course platform, achieve the position 0 on Google search. So position 0 is that position on Google when you search for something that is the featured snippet that shows up after the ads but before the actual organic links. So here's an example of what it looks like, and this is the actual keyword that we try to optimize for. So the keyword is create and sell online courses, right? And because Thinkific is an online course platform, we knew that people searching for this specific phrase were looking to use a platform like Thinkific. The problem was, before we started this project, as I scroll down here, you'll see that if you exclude our link, we had our competitors up here, and we also had a whole bunch of others, Udemy, Big Blogger, Smart Passive Income, even Neil Patel, who is the SEO king. And so with this project, we actually beat all of them. And you can see here this featured snippet which we achieved, which is basically position 0. So the first thing you'd notice about the featured snippet here is that it is in bullet points, right? And what Google is aiming to do with the featured snippet is to give you your answer in a small snippet. And quick bullet points is the best way to do that, right? So we knew we had to have a content piece that had these bullet points in this format, right? So the first thing we did was, as I click on into the actual post, as you can see here, this content piece is actually, I'm going to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. It is a massive post. It is 15,000 words, probably more, I think, maybe close to 20,000 words long. And so it's just content on content on content, right? So that was the first thing, is it was a super dense, highly valuable content piece, right? The second thing is, if you'd noticed earlier, it is broken up into subsections, chapters, right? Table of contents up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 chapters. And each of these chapter titles are on the featured snippet. So we built this content very specifically to rank for the featured snippet for this keyword. So if you look at the actual titles here, it says, why create online courses? Pick an online course topic, validate your online course, create your course content, host your online course. Online course, online course, online course, create an online course, sell an online course, over and over and over again. But of course, we did not keyword stuff it because it is 15,000 words long. You can put 100 of these in and it's still not, a large percentage of the number of words on the actual blog post. So long blog posts, 15,000 words plus, and broken up into subsections that are basically step-by-step instructions on how to do the thing that people are searching for, right? And having that keyword in the title, in the content, over and over again. But that's just the basics, right? That's just the simple stuff. The real reason why we ranked so well and so quickly, because it took us about 3 months to get up there and beat Neil Patel and all the others, is because of the linking strategy and the content that we produced before this content piece came out. So this post is actually a combination of 10 different articles that we'd already produced on the blog. And each of those articles was one of the sections, right? So why create online course is an article that we had already written for this blog. how to pick your online course topic was another article we'd already written. Each and every one of these, we'd actually produced a 1,000-word blog post before. And so when we combined it all, it turned into naturally the 10,000 word, and then we added some more content to it so that it wasn't just like a list of previous blog content. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So this whole intro section we created to introduce people to this concept. And then chapter 1, why create online courses, was a post that we'd already written. And much of this content came from that post, right? Except we changed it up a lot. So we took the core content from that post and we sort of summarized it into this, and we changed it up a bit. And then we linked back to that post. And then we went back to that post, edited it, and linked back to this post. So we built a two-way link between the two posts. And we did that for the next chapter and the next chapter and all 10 chapters, right? So you have like a new content piece, which is the introduction. You have each chapter, which is actually a previous content piece on the blog. And then you have two-way links to those chapters, okay? And that's how you get your initial 10 to 15,000. Then the next thing we did was we added more content to it on top of that to make it new, to make it better than just a collection of links, right? So that content was, we used examples of our actual users, right? So for each section of the blog post, we had a case study attached to it, which drove home the point of that section, right? So why create online courses, for example, we actually had case studies of a YouTuber who had created thousands of dollars in income, or a podcaster and a blogger and authors and so on, right? So we had these case studies here, and even a company case study, Hootsuite. If you go down again, pick an online course topic, again, case study of Simon Sinek, Starwood Why, right? And another course creator that we had on our platform. So this is all new content, but it is also like Thinkific owned content because these are actual Thinkific users. So we're adding it in to drive home the point for each subsection. The third thing that you want to do is you kind of want to add a lot of visuals, right? So break up this piece into smaller paragraphs, tons of visuals. We actually created a few visuals just specifically for this post. So this one, for example, was created for the post. We embedded videos, so that's another way to like increase time on site, aside from just people, like the 15,000 word post itself is long enough for people to drive up the average time on site, but adding videos adds to that as well. So Google looks at it as a signal of really good content. And the other visuals also just allow you to like break up the content, and instead of having a wall of text, you have like good content to look at. So it's easier for people to read. So multiple blog posts combined into one thing, two-way links, a lot of video and visual content, and then actual case studies and examples of real people. And then one more thing we also did was we included a lot of influencers in our space. So these are folks who have large Twitter followers, social media followers, email lists, and we added them in through these little quote tweets that you see here, right? So Dory Clark, for example, she's been on the news, she's been on TV, she's written books, has high authority, and so we have a little snippet from her over here, right? So all of these snippets are tweets from people, from actual influencers, who will then promote the post because we have included them in this post. We've linked to them, we've copied their content in here, and they will share that because we've done that for them, right? So here's another like quote piece from Chris Ducker, who is an influential blogger. And then another thing we did was we also linked to a whole bunch of other softwares and products in our industry. So these are partners that we can do cross promotion with. So we can go out to the partner and say, hey, we included you in our post. Feel free to share it on your social media or in your email list, right? So now not only do we have our own internal linking between the old post and the new post, but we have a reason for people externally to link back to this content piece. So this is also building us external links as well as the internal link, which does add a lot of SEO juice to it. Now, as I go down here, I kind of want to show you the entire piece, and to show you how we have also tried to use this not just as a way to attract traffic through organic search results, but to convert that traffic into actual leads. So throughout each of the sections, we have these little downloadables. So, and each downloadable is customized to that section, right? So here, how do you make your content inspirational and entertaining, right? This entire section is about how to create content, and so the little piece here is the content creation checklist, right? It's customized to this very section, and so on as we go down. And then we also have these little CTAs for signing up for the actual product. So if people are at this point, they're really excited about what the product can do for them, they can directly sign up. So we're giving them the option of either giving us their email if they're not quite there yet, but they want more information, or to sign up. And finally, we also have like a kind of like an overarching sign up. If you look right at the top, is basically a PDF version of the entire post. So if you don't have time to read it, you can either bookmark it or save it somewhere, or you could just download the entire PDF. So you have all the content. So that's kind of like the basics of putting together a really good content piece that allows you to rank at P0. You want to select a certain keyword that is high intent for your software or your product, and that has high search volume. And then you want to create like a really in-depth article around that keyword and have that keyword featured prominently, or the key phrase, in the titles, the subtitles, the different sections. You want to break it down into multiple sections. You want to have each section being linked back to a previous blog post on your existing blog, and have a two-way link going. Then you want to add a lot of visuals and break out the post into something that's easily readable. You want to also have your affiliates and your influencers and other partners featured in the post prominently so that they can link back to it. And you want to have some additional new content so that it's not just like repurposed content, but it's actually new content that Google likes to promote as well, right?
But Sid, how did you deal with the figuring out the table of contents?
How did we actually create this little widget up here?
How did you think about what content should be in the table of contents?
That's a good question, Jordan. So the content was, we had to sort of really put our heads together, and it took a bit of like inside knowledge about the online course space to know what exactly goes there, right? So you kind of need to have a bit of experience or expertise around this topic. You can't just create the topic without knowing much about the topic. And so having worked with thousands of people who created online courses, we were able to see that the first step that they took was to pick a topic, and the second step that they took was to validate it before they actually created it, and then the third step was to create the content. So that fell logically. And then the first and last chapters you see here, why create online courses and what will your legacy be, are chapters that we added on our own just to help people get into the content piece. So why create online courses is we added it there because we wanted to first sell people on the idea of reading this blog content and creating an online course. And then the final piece was also more motivational. What will your legacy be? So as you come to the end and you know how to create online courses, then we add a bit of extra motivation for you to go and do it right now, as opposed to dreaming about it and not doing it ever.
Did you have to do any schema markup to make this happen?
We did not actually have to. No, this was basically simple H1, H2 titles. This is like a WordPress blog, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So we didn't actually have to do anything special. It was just marking each of these sections and subsections as different headers.
And it took 3 months for P0 to happen?
Took 3 months, yeah. It took us a few weeks, or maybe 3 to 4 weeks, to actually put together the entire post. And then 3 months after that, we were up on page 1, and then P0, I think, in the 4th month. The reason why it took us so long to put together the entire post was, the obvious reason is that it's 15,000 words long. But we actually had another piece of we had a post-launch project as well. So not only did we just create and publish the post, we actually had an entire launch sequence for the post, which is an entirely different topic, and I can cover it in this. But the gist of the post launch was, we said, here's the date it's going to go live, and on that date we're going to notify all of our partners and our influencers and our affiliates and our email list. So there's a massive push on all our channels and the social media. We also set up a contest in advance of publishing the post. So the contest was a social media contest. So if you shared it on social media, you had a chance to win an entire year's worth of the software plus some training to create an online course. So not only did we promote it to everyone we knew, we had them promote it even further because we incentivized them. And we also incentivized the affiliates by saying, if you promoted this blog content in your websites and in your email list, you will get an additional $1 per lead of anyone who comes to this blog post and then signs up for Thinkific or signs up for the email list. So we put together like a whole launch plan, and over a period of 2 weeks, we were really promoting this. We had ads, we had affiliates, we had influencers and sharing in social media and emails and all sorts of things. And that led to a huge spike in initial traffic. And of course, it like tapers off after a while. But because of that initial spike, because of the length of the post, because it drove up the average time on site, these were all really good signals for Google to say this is a good content piece and they're going to start ranking it quickly. And because of all the interlinks and the backlinks that we started building right off the bat, it helped that SEO as well.
How many more leads did you get from being P0 versus P1, 2, or 3? How much better was it for the business to be a P0?
Well, hard for me to say because I didn't actually measure against the P1s or the P2s because I don't have an objective way to measure that. Like I can talk to the person who is P1 and try to find out exactly how much traffic and leads they get, but I'm not ranking P1 for this very same keyword, right? I am ranking it for other keywords which are lower volume or higher volume, right? So that obviously changes my perspective on how many leads I would get. So hard to say, but it does get the highest amount of traffic and the most amount of leads for the blog as of now. So there's a clear benefit to having a P0 blog content piece.
Thanks for sharing your knowledge, Sid.
Thank you, and thanks for listening. If you have any questions, email me hello@sidbharath.com or go to my website sidbharath.com, SIDBHARATH.com.